What is up, you guys? It's the Fallout What If here. As today, I'm going to do a What If on Deku, actually. He's going to be in the High School DxD universe, people. But what is he going to be? Well, this is actually going to be what if Deku was the Drunken Master in High School DxD. Now, before we start off, hopefully you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel here, people. And not only that, I was going to say it, but you know what? I don't want to ruin anything because I almost forgot. Now, hopefully, you guys just watch some of Last of Us 21's new videos. He's been doing great on the channel, and some other people are doing great too. There's a lot of what ifers there, so watch some of their videos. And yeah, just, you know, if you like this video, there's other videos you will definitely love much more better. I'm just hoping that everybody, you know, I just want to give shout outs to people. That's pretty much it. And, well, actually, let's just begin. So, we start off with Deku's life. And Deku is, we're going to say Deku is like a child. Probably like 4 or 5, when his whole life kind of spiraled out of control. His first encounter with his father. Now, his father was a drunken mess. And, well, he hasn't ever seen his father all the time. Until one day, his father comes home and is drinking alcohol. And most times than not, it's nothing bad. His whole life is average, actually. Until one day, he goes and, he gets in trouble. Who gets in trouble? The father. Actually, he's an alcoholic. So one day, with him actually drinking alcohol, and him not thinking anything of it, he accidentally bumps into his boss, who finds out he's been drinking too much, which is a violation of the rules. And so on and so forth. He gets on bad terms with the boss, and the boss actually kicks him out. Now, that being said, this is where Deku's life becomes a living hell. Because Izuku's father gets fired, Izuku has to go through a lot of stress and anxiety. First off, the father beats down Izuku. Not only that, the mother. So Izuku usually just gets scared of him. Not knowing what to do, and not only that, not even thinking about, what's the word? He doesn't even think to defend himself or defend his own mother. He thinks just like if he hides, then he won't try to hit him. And yeah, Izuku usually just gets beaten to a good degree. I mean, his whole life, for most of his childhood, he doesn't like being with his dad, but you know, they don't have anywhere else to go, so Deku has to take it. Not only that, Inko is not going to actually be here. It's just going to be a random woman. Yeah, you know what? Give Deku the green hair. Deku should have his green hair. So, when Deku just looks around and even goes to his father's room to try to wake him up because he has other jobs, he gets fired most times than not. Out of every year, he gets 20 jobs. So that's what, 2 a month at times? 12 times 2 is 24. The father can only keep a job around once every 2 months. So I'm not gonna wait a minute. 12 times 2. No, he has 2 jobs every month. There we go. So Izuku's not living the good life. Not only that, with the mother always just being there, telling Izuku that it'll be okay. He thinks he tells her that he'll try to make money and try his best to make the family proud. Which the mother looks at him with a loving smile and all, telling him that he's going to do all right. And every time the father's drunk, and when he comes home, well, he beats down, and most times than not, it's the mother that takes the hits for him. She gets hit so many times that, well, she pretty much ends up just doing whatever the father wants. And it's not just mentally, like getting him drinks and all that stuff, or cleaning up the mess that he makes. It's also lemony, but it's not even lemon. It's disgusting. Papaya. Now, with that being said, Izuku's seen his father's the dark side of his father, usually just beating up on people, and sometimes he's actually found blood on his father's shirt, which sometimes he thinks to himself is not even his. And the father just says, "Don't worry about it," and he always tells Izuku just to get him a beer. And we get to a point where we introduce Issei to all this. Issei talks to Izuku, and while Izuku is, doing well in he's not even doing well. I don't know what I just said right there. I legit thought I was gonna say something meaningful, but with Izuku's life being, I guess the word is sad. Izuku's going to be having a friend, which is going to be Issei and Irina, but due to him being a boy, due to Irina being a boy, a tomboy, none of them kind of know what's happening. So the three just usually hang around and have fun. And Izuku is actually glad that these two that all of them are friends. And the only reason why Deku even knows them was because one day when his mother told him to just go outside while she takes care of the father. Yeah, he decides to go to the park, and that's when he sees the two just playing around, and Izuku is there. Sorry about that. Izuku is there to talk and actually listen to Issei while he talks about how good he is and how awesome he is, and he's going to be like, I don't know, like what do little kids say? Like they're gonna be the best at something. They're gonna be popular one day, and Izuku kind of admires that. It's kind of like Issei kind of fills in that role from Bakugo, but he's more perverted. So Izuku actually gets those little perverted tendencies, like looks at girls' skirts and takes like quick peeks, just smiling away. And well, Irina kind of just tells him not to do that, but what is he gonna do? He's young right now. So the three made a promise one day to become very popular or something like that, just to make sure that their lives are that they get to be there in high school with everybody and have jobs together, have a good life together. All of them just being like very close. And Izuku's actually, happy because these are one of the few moments in his life where he just thinks, wow, my life, it's not so bad living my life. But once he goes home, it's a different story. But at the age of 8, Irina left and Issei actually went to a different place. So Izuku just is, he's not able to do anything. He's fearing the father again because the father just lost his job and he's getting so mad. And not only that, this is where Izuku's life goes downwards. Even more. The mother kills herself, and the father basically takes it out on the son. And one day, Izuku actually got his head hit with a glass bottle, causing Izuku to actually go into a coma-like state. And this is when Izuku gets up for 2 years and finds out what happened. The father actually gets to go to prison, but Izuku's life goes even more spiraling when he finds out that he doesn't have a home. He has to go into foster care. And in foster care, people don't have fathers. But that doesn't mean they're not going to bully Izuku. Because Izuku is the son of a monster. A bad, bad man, which makes him bad too. So Izuku just gets upset. And he goes to basically he goes to an outing. One day he's right there next by the adults. And he gets he looks at one of the drink aisles, and then he sees a drink. And it's in a styrofoam cup, so he just grabs it and decides to walk around with it. And he doesn't know what it is. It is a bottle it is a cup of beer. But Izuku doesn't know that. He thought, since, everybody's, since this is a big party, it's just all apple juice, or grape juice, or whatever kind of juice this is. So, Deku just takes a swig, and kind of regrets it. But at some point, his mind just took off for a second, with him drinking again, saying that this tastes disgusting. But he doesn't know why he's not just letting go of it. And he drinks it more. And more, and more, until Deku gets completely hammered. Now, you guys may think, well, why would he get drunk just by drinking a little bit of that? Remember, people, he's still a kid. So he's technically not, he's not, what's the word? He's not able to handle his alcohol at that young of an age. So Izuku is just like, tipsing over and all that stuff. And people say that, the kids look at him. They say that he's just weird. And why would he be around them? And that he should go away. Izuku says that they should all just shut up. None of them have gone through what he's gone, and that they should all not even speak. Sorry about that, people. One of the kids actually looks at him and just tries to push him, but this is when Izuku actually just grabs at him and just starts pushing him down to the ground. Gets on top of him and actually just starts slapping him. You know how little kids hit each other? And basically, Izuku kind of does that. But remembering how his father beats him, he does the exact same thing. And this is when the kids start crying out to the teacher, or not to the teachers, to the adults, saying that this kid Izuku is hurting the, well, student, or not the student, well, this kid's hurting the, one of the, the foster child. And, well, Izuku is technically still in the wrong. The kid has technically bullied him and tried to push him at first. Not only that, they found out that this kid is completely wasted. So Izuku just starts having this taste for alcohol. So much so that he's been, well, he's actually gone into, like, trouble at times. But Izuku's actually done wrong things, such as snuck out with alcohol, got into the adults' beverages in the, what is the word? Inside the foster care system. There's sometimes, like, there's like adults drinks, and there's like food for adults, and then there's like what the kids can eat and what the kids can drink. Izuku snuck in there a lot more times than he can count, actually just drinking, and he gets drunk, but he just likes sleeping. And then, Saku doesn't think a thing until he gets into a car accident. Now, in his life, Deku has gone out of the foster home and just ran around doing whatever he wants. When he's drunk, of course, because if he's sober, he's kind of scared. But drunk Izuku just loves it. Loves going out, loves doing whatever he wants. Nobody can do anything to him. Nobody cares about him either way. He's been bullied so much that dying wouldn't even be the worst thing. I mean, he's seen his mother before dead. So Izuku doesn't worry about that. Izuku doesn't understand why he has to go through all this. What did he do wrong in his life? He always wonders that. Oh, and if you guys are wondering, the father dies because, one, he gets into a fight with one person who actually had a beverage drink, and the father was like, if he can have a swig, and he gets upset, ends up accidentally killing the guy, and due to gang violence and stuff happening in prison, the father was taken care of immediately. So Deku gets hit by a car. Not just by the car, not just by a car. Due to him having a large amounts of alcohol in his system, he does get a form of alcohol poisoning, which technically would have killed him either way. But Deku wakes up in a room. What room? Whichever room he was supposed to be in. Now, that being said, Izuku looks around. He looks at his surroundings, and he sees an old man looking at him, saying, "Boy, you are going to be my successor." Oh, and for those who are wondering, no, it's not All Might. It's not. Don't worry about it. I thought about just doing that for All Might, but nah, that would be too that'd be too easy, and well, not too easy. It's just that'd be too weird. Putting the number one hero as like an old man. Not only that, for no good reason. Sorry for that. So, so the old man looks at him and says, "What are you doing here? This is my area." And Izuku says, "Where am I at?" And the man tells him that, oh, he's in, well, he doesn't know. He's just wherever he wants to be. And he guesses that Izuku stumbled upon it by chance. Now, Izuku is wondering to himself, why would he be by chance? Like, how does he get out of here? The man says he knows a way, but is he really going to let him leave? If he can beat the drunken man, which is me, you can leave whenever you want, or you can be the master of this world. It's all up to you. Izuku says, what are you talking about? I don't want to die. And this is when the man pulls up well, not a video, but he pulls up the life of Izuku. And he says, look at this right here. Oh, your mother dying at such a young age. And your father, ugh. I bet he's a real pleasure to be around. And Izuku says, my father? I know why you're bringing up my father. And this is when the man says, well, I know that you've been through a lot of hell. Father beating on you, not even doing anything wrong, just living your life, and he had the nerve to do that to you? But your mother, oh my gosh, she was such a coward. She let her own son. That's I wouldn't say it like that. She let her own son be alone with that man while he was beating on her. And in the end, she took her own life. If it was me, I would be thinking to myself, what a coward. Izuku looks at him and says, my mother wasn't a coward. She just couldn't handle it. She was sad and scared. And this is when the man says, what about you? You might actually be both by now. And yet here you are. Not even, what's the word? Not even like 10 years old. Because, well, I guess, nah, I shouldn't have said that. Not even old enough. Not even old enough to, I don't know, actually. Not even old enough to grow your own the hair on your chins, and yet you drank, and yet your mother died. You didn't actually succeed in life. You're an outcast, like me. I am what you call a drunk. And this is when Izuku says, well, that's kind of obvious. You look very, very, very wasted. The man says, do I now? Do you know why I'm wasted? And Deku says, no. And he says, is it because you're sad? And he says, yes, but no. That is just merely part of it. I am going to be frank with you and to tell you that I am a drunk master. And this is when Izuku says, so all you can do is just get drunk? That's not very fun. And he says, well, what about you? You like getting drunk. You're your father. You are the same as your father. Deku says, I am not like him. I don't know why I did that. I wanted the pain to go away. And the man says, don't we all? I drink so I actually can fight. I like fighting with my full strength and my full capabilities. And this is when Deku says, fighting with full capabilities? But you're drunk. And he says, alright, if you think that me being drunk is if me being drunk would make me more likely to lose, then we'll say that this is a handicap. It's not a burden to me, but how should I know? A kid younger than me, not even old enough to have his first real battle, who's technically not even, what is the word? Have his first ever kiss yet, tell me what to do. You know what? Let's play a game. If you can beat me, I will let you leave. But if I win, I get to train you under the arts of the Drunken Fist, and also learn the fighting capabilities of the Drunken Master. Furthermore, I will teach you, I guess, magic? But you wouldn't understand about that yet. Give me a second here, people. I gotta do something right now. So, Deku accepts the challenge, saying that he just wants to be left alone in a way. But this is when the man says, "Are you sure about that?" And Deku's thinking to himself, what does he mean by that? The old man explains that this whole time he's just been lonely. He has nobody and people look at him as an outcast. Why does he think that he's gonna be okay with this kind of attitude? And this is when Deku just says, let me at least, shit. He just tells him to mind his own business. Now, Deku would not act like this in canon, but this is alcoholism, abused Deku. So, yeah, that's reason enough for me. So, Deku just walks up to him and says that, I'm gonna beat you. Or at least land a punch on you, then I can get out of here. The old man sighs and says, alright, that's what you think. Deku gets upset and he says, watch this. And this is when he just lands a punch, only for the punch not to land at all. Deku sees that the man's behind him, and this is when the man just says a few words and he just whispers a few words calling him an idiot. And he just lands a palm strike, hurling him towards a freaking, nearby a boulder. Deku actually just, fading into darkness. Now, the old man picks him up, and this is when he says to himself, reminds me of myself when I was a kid. Nah, he'll be fine. He starts picking him up and starts walking him to, his base, his hut. A few hours later, Deku actually wakes up. And he looks at the old man and he says he lost, didn't he? And this is when the old man says, yup, by a huge amount. And this is when Deku says, so you're gonna teach me? And this is what the old man says, well, I'm gonna teach you, but you're gonna have to listen to me. My name is... I don't know what to give him, actually. I don't know what name should it be. It should be like a drunk name, but his name would be Shang. We'll just call him Shang. Shit, sorry. Alright. So, when Shang actually talks to him, he explains that the drunken style of martial arts is, it's not for the faint of heart, nor is it for kids. And Deku says, well, I drink from time to time. And he says, I know. You shouldn't have done that at your age. And Deku and Izuku's just telling him that his whole life, and Izuku sees this guy. Well, he hears him, actually tells him, yeah, I understand. My life sucks. I actually going through a hard time in life. Yada, yada, yada. Look, you went through something bad. And I understand that. I mean, this whole world goes through every single conceivable possibility every day. Going through its own trials and tribulations. But that is no excuse for you to try to mess up your life. You are in control of yourself, and to basically lie there telling me about your life is horrible. It feels wrong. And this is when he just starts fixing up Izuku's injuries, and he says, besides, if I'm going to train you and turn you into a prodigy of mine, I'm going to have to do some minor adjustments to your body. This is when Deku says, like what? And he says, you'll see. Or, I guess you won't for this procedure. And he grabs the needle and just sticks it onto Deku's head. Deku, not knowing what's happening, just lies there in unconsciousness for a long time. Now, we go on to Issei. We're going to talk about Issei for a little bit. At least for like 5 minutes or something. Issei has been going through life normally, but he does wonder about Izuku. Because Izuku lived far, but not too far. Because he couldn't visit him all the time. He only visited him once in a blue moon. So Issei thought, today's the day. He tries to actually go to his house in the apartment number that he's been in before. But, sorry about that. No, what was I saying? Oh yeah. He tries to visit him like before, and he finds out that the house residents aren't there anymore. Actually, that he saw that there's like a news article, like stuff in the mailbox where they're at. He reads it and talks. It says, sorry about that. It talks about like, oh, the Izuku's family died. Izuku's father Izuku's mother committed suicide, and Izuku's father died in prison. And this is when he kind of finds out this kind of sucks, and Izuku is nowhere in sight. And he tried to go to the foster home where kids can be the adoption center. And he finds that and he finds out that Izuku is no longer here. He ran off one day. So Issei is kind of sad. Well, no, he's kind of, no, he's not kind of sad. He's very distraught about this. Somebody who he could consider a friend just left out in the open with no traces of him left. And not only that, he's been lonely for a long time. Issei feels terrible about this. And he wonders what would have happened had he just stayed there still. Would he have done the same thing? Would Izuku just stay with him? Heck, he could have just let Izuku live with him. But in the end, he died. In the end, it feels like he's just dead. So Issei just goes back home, crying his eyes out, just saying that this is not fair. And this is when his emotions start going out of control, and he just starts crying a lot. And this is when a gauntlet appears out of his hand. Him talking and saying, "You, stop with your blathering. I can hear it from all the way inside of your soul. It's not a good picture of the future, Red Dragon Emperor. And this is when Issei's life is going to change as well. And now we go back to Izuku. Well, at least until Izuku reaches the age of 12. Izuku, by the way, has gone through some modifications with his soul, actually allowing him to go through what is known as chi training, and him having the abilities to use some elements in chi, such as Deku's fire breathing. Yeah, Izuku's now gonna experience the power of fire within his soul, being able to use that for, well, to breathe out fire. His hands will have been molded to fight for a long time. Not only that, with his training, he carries that barrel that you see in the picture. It's heavy as hell. It's a barrel of alcohol. But with the barrel of alcohol perk, it's not even a perk, it's just his training. He gets way stronger than before due to him having to carry such a big thing around. And also, with him becoming a freaking master at fighting at the age of 12, due to him training for 2 years, he's learned a lot about martial arts. And not only that, without him drinking at all, completely sobered, the old man starts to see that this kid truly did have potential to not give up, to keep pushing past his limits, and the man is seeing that he's a very good fighter. Now, Deku's gonna look like this besides the acorn hat. I mean, he's gonna have it, but not at that moment. Now, this whole time Izuku was training, the old man talks to him about how he should fight when he's drunk, and to not be drunk yet, to just keep fighting sober. And Deku says, I thought the whole point of fighting the drunken fist style was to basically be drunk. The man says no. The whole part of the whole point of the drunken fist style is to get you ready to fight. The whole point of drinking in the drunken fist style is so that way your body can be so relaxed that you can pull out so many combos on people. You are going to be so hard to read, so hard to understand that your fighting style would be it's going to be like the unknown part of society. It is its own treasure trove of mysteries and, abilities that you're going to have later on. Now, Deku tells him, why would I want to fight in a world where there's no danger at all? It's normally just robbers and hoodlums. Deku doesn't need this kind of style. He just needs to be a police officer. And the man says, yeah, right. With you being a drunk all day, you're just gonna follow the path of your father. And Izuku takes a weird hit to the chest by that. So, Deku looks at him and says, you're probably right. And the man says, oh, you're not fighting back, are you? Oh. Deku says, I understand that, but I really don't want to talk about it. And this is when he says, so why don't you just let out your anger? Let out that primal lust. Let out that lust that only a few fighters can have. And Deku says, what are you talking about? And this is when the man says, alright, why don't you have a sparring session with me again? Deku says, now? Well, it's been a while, but alright. He says, let go of the barrel. And he says, okay, this is actually, it's gonna be way easier than I thought. He lets go of the barrel, and the barrel actually creates a little tiny crater. And this is when he says, now, what am I supposed to do? And he says, just come at me and see if you can land a hit on me. And he says, you think I'm going to be that easy to beat just because I'm only good at fighting a non-drunk? I can land a hit on you though. And this is when the old man says, I doubt that, but go ahead. So Izuku just gets ready, and he just looks at him saying tiger stance, and just starts running on all fours, actually ready to jump up in the air and pounce on him, trying to land a blow. But this is when the man just looks at him and just releases all of his bloodlust, causing Izuku just basically back down immediately. He starts trying to get up, but his breathing is hard to... it's kind of hard for him to control his breathing due to the amount of bloodlust that the old man's producing. And at this point, Deku just looks at him and says, Master Shang, this is too much. And this is when the man says, I told you to land a hit on me. And Deku starts trying to walk up to him. And this is when Izuku was about to raise his fist. But in his mind, he actually sees a part of Shen that just stabs a hole through his heart and tears it up. And Deku just starts walking backwards. And at this, Shang actually just releases, closes his bloodlust away. And he says, what do you think? Deku says, how? This was so hard for me to handle. And the old man says, yes, I know. This is what it's called, bloodlust. Something you have all too well. Probably even more than me. You just have to let it go. Let go of the feeling. Let go through all the anguish and the pain that you've been through. Heck, use your trainings. Use that anger that you had to do while training to just let it go. If a drunk person like me can do it, a sober person like you, who has all of his emotions intact, just let it all out. Now, it's time for us to continue our training. And Deku actually gets ready, and this is when he starts running towards him. The old man, not even producing any bloodlust, looks at him and just says, wind style, calming force. Now, these are just random names that I'm going with, so Deku's gonna have a hell of a lot more stuff to say, but I'm just using ones that I like right now. And he just pushes Deku far back. Now with this, the old man uses wind to just cast, to push Izuku back a lot, causing him not even able to go there. And Deku just starts running, and just starts pushing through that wind, but the wind starts slicing up Izuku little by little. Due to the wind the more closer he is to the old man and his wind style, the more he's closer to the force of the wind. The wind becoming much more powerful and also releasing sharp little cuts onto Izuku. Izuku's saying that this isn't going to be easy, but Deku just starts doing the same thing. Wind style, calming wind. And the two start pushing each other away. The old man saying, oh, you catch on quickly. but using his other hand, doing the exact same chant, pushes Izuku far, far away, causing him actually to fall into a pond. Izuku just gets up and says, "That's cheating. That I don't believe that even you didn't count that." And he says, "Hey, when you have power, use it." And Deku just says, "How am I not? You know what? How am I not even upset with you on this?" And he says, "You are upset with yourself. I know I'm upset with myself." Now, with all that, Izuku has 2 more years of training. And this is when Izuku's learned another version of the Drunken Fist, which would be the Bloodlust. And also the Drunken Fist style, sleeping style. Which means now Izuku has the ability to fight while sleeping. Or have a defense barrier around his whole body. Through like a 3 feet radius, where he knows when someone's gonna touch him out of sleep. So Izuku's just lying there, just talking to the old man and actually drinking with him, saying, "Man, this is actually very fun. I can't believe that I'm going to leave." And Izuku starts having this dream saying, "I want to go back home." And the old man says, "I won't be here anymore to teach you once you leave." And Deku says, "Oh, I guess I'll stay here for then." And the old man says, "No, you will leave." And this is when Deku just says, "Why?" And the old man confesses to him, saying, "During my time, I was supposed to do the exact same thing. But with me beating my master, he died. I regretted it for a long time, so I stayed here. If anything, I would want you to kill me, and to actually show me your progression." Deku says, "Why would you want to die?" And the old man says, "Well, in all honesty, I don't want to die. But I know if I die, you have the ability to leave. But I stayed here with so much regret. You will have nothing over here. But over there, back in your world, you will have so much things to do. I believe your journey is going to start soon. The moment you go there." And Izuku looks at him and says, "I don't want you to die, though. This sucks. This whole time, I've just been happy that somebody was with me." The old man looks at him and says, "My name is Shane Fulong. You can use that as your last name. But there's something that I'm willing to give you, which is power, once you beat me. Plus, this world will crumble away soon enough. I made sure to do that by creating basically making a magic, using destruction magic." Deku says, Deku does look at him in shock, saying, "What's destruction magic?" And it says, you'll probably find out how to use it one day. But until then, we have a good hour before anything happens." So basically Deku just gets up and takes his final drink over here in this world, which nobody knows, but this is we'll talk about this world soon enough. Deku starts getting ready and uses a battle stance. And the old man says, one more fight, and this will be our last time together. And these two get ready and not saying a word. Until Izuku does a hiccup. The old man just starts running towards him and actually is about to land a blow. With Deku actually falling and doing a freaking twin, doing that one, I forgot what it is. You know where he uses two of his feet to actually spin around, causing a kicking motion, making the old man actually, go backwards and stuff. But Deku actually sees that the old man is about to stomp the ground and gets hit by it, causing the old man actually just kicks the ground, and the freaking earth just starts to break down, causing him to almost get his head stuck. Now, with these two going at it, Deku starts landing blow for blow with the old man. Nobody lands a hit on each other, but nobody actually gets hit at all. Not letting each other rest, Deku grabs the air and just says wind style, slicing wind. And the old man just says earth style, tree stance, causing the old man to actually just take all those hits that Izuku's giving him. Now, at this point, Deku uses water stance, tsunami punch, and causes a lot of freaking force onto the old man, actually getting him to breathe heavily on this. And Deku sees the old man and he says, "Are you okay?" And the old man says, "You actually did good with that one. Start using your imagination, kid, and victory will come to you." Deku says, "Alright." Now, Deku has control over the 5 elements. When someone uses chi, it is like he has chi. So to give you guys an explanation, the old man said it like this: chi is basically the inner workings of your spirit mixing in with your soul. And Deku explains says chakra, and the old man says no, it's not like chakra. It is the energy to get to use in certain situations. But with chi, you can use elements to your will, but they're not as shit. Alright, they're not used as projectiles or tags and all that stuff. That's only with chakra. But with chi, it's more on combat, more on taijutsu, more in, martial arts. So, basically, Deku has a whole array of fighting styles. But this is when Deku just says, "Alright, fine. It's time to use it." And Deku just starts running back, starts running towards the barrel. The old man sees this and says, "Oh no, you don't." And he looks at Deku and just starts breathing fire, causing a dragon to come out of the old man's mouth and start roaring at Deku. Deku starts drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking, causing the barrel to be out of, alcohol. Deku starts looking at him and just starts running, says tiger stance, and just starts running through the fire, actually seeing that Deku looks like a tiger while running on all fours. And the old man starts looking at him and says the tiger stance. Well, this might be my end. And this is when the old man uses bloodlust, saying, "Not so fast, Izuku." And this is when Izuku starts feeling it again. And he remembers what he said before. Give me a second here, people. Sorry about that. Need some proper H2O. Now, Izuku looks at him and says, I will not be defeated by that again. And this is when he just starts creating so much bloodlust. With this bloodlust, Deku starts materializing a sword. The old man saying, "What is this?" And Deku says, "Creation style. Wind sword. Creation style." Fear factor. Deku has a lot of, he has a real powerful affinity for creation. Which means his soul could create a living image of a weapon. Or anything he wants, but a weapon is easier to make. Deku says, sword. And this is when he just infuses so much bloodlust within the blade that Deku just slashes down at the old man, causing him to actually be cut with bloodlust. Well, it's bloodlust infused chi. And this is when the old man just actually gets bleeds on his is bleeding on his shoulder, and Deku just looks at him and says, "I won." And this is when the old man starts looking at him and saying, "You know, I'm proud of you." And this is when Izuku just looks at him and says, "You're proud of me? You're proud of me? I'm happy, Master. I wish I could take you back to the place that I was at. We have a lot of good food. I had two good friends that I would wish for you to meet. Heck, there's even some good liquor there too. We can be drinking the whole time. We can have fun. We could talk about the adventures that we could have had. Heck, even gone to some casinos. Knowing how you are, you could have loved that." And Deku starts looking at him, and he knows that he's dead. And Deku says, so this was the last time I drank with you." And the old man just has a smile on his face, and Izuku sees that. And he starts crying and saying that he's glad to have met a person like him. So Izuku just goes back inside the house, or inside the hut, and grabs all of his belongings. And Deku is happy about this, but Deku is somewhat confused. He doesn't understand why, but his eyes start to feel drainy. And Izuku is wondering to himself, why does his eyes hurt so much? And this is when he just he actually comes back to the real world. Now, Izuku is wondering what was all that. And Izuku's stuck in a zoo. Now, he's looking around, and everybody just sees that this man is inside of a zoo pit. And Izuku's looking at what the animal is, and coincidentally enough, plot and more plot, he's around some tigers. And so Deku looks up and he says, "Oh my gosh, the itty bitty witty kitties." And the tigers start looking at him, and they just start getting upset, but then they actually smell something on him, and basically they all just start they start purring freaking rubbing onto Izuku, and Izuku says, "Oh, come on, that tickles." You know, you cats are, well, getting, you guys are getting hair all over my body. And this is when Izuku looks up and he sees that there's a bunch of people yelling, saying that the man's gonna die. Izuku actually starts telling them, "Oh, it's alright. I'm used to stuff like this." And they're all like, "The guy's suicidal." And Izuku says, "No, that's not what I mean." And Izuku just jumps in the air and lands on top of the, what is it called? He lands on top of the bridge, or not on top of the bridge. He lands on the railings where the tigers couldn't climb. And he says, "Look at that. Didn't I say I could do it?" So Deku starts running and running and running outside, actually leaving his, leaving the zoo, and saying that this place is not changed a bit. And he's gonna have to go to school. Well, to high school. But that's where I'm gonna leave it off here, people. If you guys liked it, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel here, people. This has been the Fallout. What if you're here? Bye.